Hey folks, welcome back to Stoic Life Hacks. Ever wondered what runs through their mind when you vanish completely? Not just pulling back, but disappearing entirely. Here's the harsh truth. They've become used to having you around, believing they can treat you however they want because you'll always stay. You've made yourself constantly available, a choice they always expect to have. But what happens when you decide you've had enough? You've held on to them like they were your lifeline. But have they ever shown they needed you the same way? No, because they've become too comfortable, taking you for granted. But when you vanish, when your calls stop, when you're no longer there, they feel the shockwave. They never saw it coming. One moment, they thought they were in control. The next, it's gone, and they're left wrestling with their own insecurities. Your sudden absence puts them in a place where your energy and attention are no longer theirs. It hits harder than any argument, any plea for recognition. They don't just miss you, they crave you. The power of your silence speaks volumes, creating a mystery they can't solve, a void they can't fill. Your predictability made you easy to read. They thought they knew how to handle you, how to string you along. But when you walk away without warning, it leaves them with a chilling question. What if I lost them for good? It's like the ground is pulled from under them. Their confidence shatters. They start second-guessing every move they made, every time they pushed you aside, thinking you'd always be there. As the saying goes, you don't appreciate what you have until it's gone. It's true because we often take for granted what feels constant. When you disappear, they realize the void left behind, and it forces them to confront the reality of what they lost. In the silence of your absence, your value speaks louder than any words ever could. The silence you leave behind forces them to confront a harsh truth. They never truly valued you until they lost access to you. Your absence acts as a loud wake-up call, echoing through every corner of their mind, making them realize they've lost something they didn't even know they needed. But this isn't about revenge or manipulating others. It's about reclaiming your power. It's about showing them that you are someone they can't afford to lose. Your disappearance doesn't just change the situation, it rattles them deeply. They feel it in unexpected ways, because they never fully understood your worth until you were gone. Remember, people often fail to appreciate the value of what they have until it's lost. And while it's a common human flaw, you don't have to wait around for their realization. Your worth isn't something to be recognized only in your absence. However, sometimes stepping away is the only way to make them see what they took for granted. Sometimes you need to vanish to remind them of your irreplaceability. Think about it. Maybe you've been trying to connect with someone new, or the spark in your relationship is dimming. You've poured in your time, energy, and attention, but they seem distant, distracted, as if you're just an afterthought. It stings, doesn't it? But here's the reality check. You've been doing all the work while they've gotten comfortable with the idea that you'll always be there, giving without expecting much in return. This is where you flip the script. Imagine pulling back, cutting off that constant flow of attention. One day they wake up and you're no longer there. That's when they feel the impact. Your absence becomes louder than any word spoken. It's an experience they didn't anticipate. Psychologically, this sudden loss triggers a process known as cognitive dissonance, where they struggle to reconcile the comfort they felt with the new void in their life. They become insecure and scramble to figure out what went wrong, missing you for the very first time. The power has now shifted to you. So here's my challenge. Step away and let them confront the cold reality of life without you. When they start reaching out, trying to pull you back into their world, it's proof that the power dynamic has changed. If you're ready to take control of your story, to stop chasing, and to make them realize what they lost, type "I accept the challenge" in the comments. Let's see how they handle the 9 emotions they may go through when you vanish unexpectedly. Trust me, this will shake them in ways they never imagined. When you withdraw from their life, it's not just a minor hiccup, it's a major shift. By giving them space, you're actually causing them to experience an emptiness they didn't expect. You become the silence in their mind, the missing piece they can't ignore. And believe me, they'll feel it. That's when the real change begins. They start to feel an unanticipated pull toward you. The absence they once overlooked now haunts them, pulling them back toward the space you once filled. They begin to wonder about you, where you are, what you're doing, and why they didn't recognize your value until it was too late. The shift in power dynamic completely is undeniable. You've become the mystery. The energy they're missing is yours. And here's the twist. The longer you stay away, the stronger the pull becomes. They will find themselves chasing you instead of the other way around. So stay with me and hit the like button below this video to help it reach more people like you who need to reclaim their power. Trust me, you're not the only one who needs this message. Many people are stuck in the same cycle, waiting for their wake-up call. Let's break it together. Emotion number 1, rejection. Rejection is the first emotion they feel when you disappear. It's not just any rejection, but the kind that stings deep and lingers. Here's the harsh reality. They never saw it coming. They expected you to always be there, holding out hope for a change that would never materialize. Now their world has shattered, and that unexpected rejection hits them like a devastating blow. When you vanish, they experience rejection that chips away at their ego. Whether it's someone new you were trying to attract or an old relationship that's grown cold, the sting is the same. They may act unaffected, but deep down they feel abandoned and powerless. Now imagine trying to meet someone new. You've shown interest, made yourself available, but they've kept their distance, only giving you scraps of attention. They've gotten used to you being there, assuming you'll always be available for their next move. But now everything changes. You stop reaching out, you pull back your energy completely. Suddenly, they feel the weight of your absence. It's a rejection they weren't ready for. They start to wonder, was I too distant? Did I miss my chance? They begin questioning their abilities, feeling insecure in ways they never did when you were around. What's worse, you're not there to reassure them or explain yourself. The hurt comes from being left to deal with their own fears and doubts. Now let's shift to an old relationship that's barely hanging on. Maybe you've been trying to reignite a spark that's long since died out. Or maybe you've stayed because you didn't want to be the one to walk away, even though deep down, you knew it was over. They've become distant, treating you like an obligation. So what happens when you finally decide to disappear? At first, they may feel relief. You've given them space after all. But as time passes, they realize they've lost you, and that's when the sting of rejection hits. They may have taken you for granted when you were there, but in your absence, they're forced to face what they've lost. This moment of rejection isn't really about them. It's about you reclaiming your power. Let's be honest, you've been afraid to walk away for too long. You feared they'd forget about you or replace you. That fear has kept you stuck in a cycle where you give more than you receive. But now that you've pulled away, you see that fear was just an illusion. What you're doing is not running away or giving up. It's letting go of the need to prove your worth to someone who should have recognized it all along. The rejection they feel is a reflection of what happens when they finally realize who they lost. You are the prize, not someone to chase or take for granted. Remind yourself of this. You don't need approval from someone who didn't see your worth when you were right in front of them. You're not disappearing to play games, you're stepping back because you know you deserve more. Now let's take this to the next level. If you're ready to assert your authority, if you've had enough of being treated like an option, I urge you to write these words. I've had enough of begging. Own those words and let the world know you're no longer here to seek approval from anyone. They deserve better, and it's time for them to experience what life is like without you. Stay with me, because the journey isn't over yet. The situation will shift with each step in this process. Number 2, the lack of things, the emptiness of missing something. After the sting of rejection, the next emotion they'll experience is the deep emptiness of missing you. At first, they may try to shake off the rejection, convincing themselves they're fine without you. They might even put on a brave face, pretending they're unaffected. But deep down, something will gnaw at them, something they can't ignore, the void your absence has left behind. When you were in their life, they took your presence for granted. You were always there, always giving, always offering your time, energy, and care. But now there's a gaping hole where you used to be, and it's slowly eating away at them. This isn't just about the loss of someone to talk to or spend time with. It's the deeper realization that they miss the comfort, the security, and the stability you brought to their world. Imagine trying to attract someone new. You've been showing up, making time for them, putting in the effort to show you care, but they kept you at arm's length, never fully engaging, always assuming you'd be there. They didn't see the value of what you brought into their life, but now that you've disappeared, they're left feeling that absence. The lack of your presence in every moment of silence, and every day that passes without a text or call from you, feels heavier and more profound than they thought. What are you doing right now? You're not waiting for them to realize what they've lost. You've already moved on. Take care of yourself. Taking back your power means giving them less energy, so they feel like they've lost even more. You're no longer their safety net, the person they can fall back on when they need attention or validation. They're on their own now, and it's starting to sink in. You might be tempted to check in with them to see if they've come to terms with what they've lost, but don't rush into it. Let them feel the full weight of missing you. This is their wake-up call. If you step in too soon, they'll never fully appreciate how valuable you truly are. Say this to yourself often: I am whole without them. Remind yourself that you don't need anyone who didn't see your worth when you were right in front of them. You're not disappearing to manipulate or play games. You're stepping back because you know you deserve more. They'll start to wonder, why didn't I appreciate them when I had the chance? And what did I do wrong? The questions they avoid during your presence begin to haunt them. The absence of your energy and presence in their life forces them to confront their own shortcomings, their past mistakes, and their inability to truly value what you offered. They may ask themselves, was I too distant? Was I selfish? Did I take them for granted? These are not just questions. They're realizations that start to eat at their confidence and ego. You're no longer there to comfort them or fill the gaps. And now they're left alone with their own thoughts, questioning their role in the downfall of the connection. In an old relationship, the guilt and self-doubt are even more profound. They start to see the truth about their actions, the things they neglected, the promises they broke, the love they took for granted, and the realization hits them hard. They are responsible for your absence. Their inability to see the value in you until it was too late becomes painfully clear. But you're standing in your power, no longer waiting for them to come to terms with their mistakes. You've already made peace with the fact that you deserve more than what they gave you. This self-reflection they're going through is not your problem anymore. It's their journey, not yours. At this point, you'll notice a shift in their behavior. They might start reaching out, even if it's only in subtle ways, indirect messages, half-hearted attempts to reconnect. But you know better now. You've seen this before. The person who once took you for granted, who never made the effort, now wants to come back because they realize they've lost you. But the truth is, they're not coming back because they've changed. They're coming back because the absence of your energy is a void they can't fill. And that's not a reason to give them another chance. They'll try to paint their actions in a different light, but don't fall for it. They're not offering you a new beginning. They're offering you their leftovers. Here's an affirmation to keep you centered. I won't settle for less than I deserve. Say it loud and say it proud. You're no longer available for half-hearted efforts, empty promises, or being someone's backup plan. Remember, when they come back, it will be because you've become the mystery they can't solve. They'll wonder what happened to the person who was always there, always understanding, always giving. They'll wonder why they let you go, and that's when they'll start to see the truth. They lost someone irreplaceable, but by then, it's too late. You've already moved on. You're not available to fill their void anymore. You're focused on your own growth, your own happiness, and your own future. Your power is in your absence, in your refusal to be anyone's second choice. Keep moving forward. Don't let their curiosity pull you back. Don't let their guilt or self-reflection manipulate you into thinking you owe them anything. You owe yourself everything. And the best part is, you're living for you now. Go ahead, write this affirmation in the comments. I am the mystery they can't solve. You are the prize, and that's exactly how you'll keep showing up. Strong, confident, and with your energy focused on the people and things that truly deserve it. You've already stepped beyond their tactics and are no longer moved by their games. The indifference, the social media posts, the flirtations, they're all just empty attempts to get a rise out of you, to make you feel jealous, to reel you back in. But the truth is, you're no longer that person. You're no longer playing their game. They're stuck in the cycle of manipulation, trying to get you to react. But it's futile. You've already seen through their act, and you're no longer swayed by their efforts. Their tricks are transparent, and while they're scrambling to regain control, you've found your own peace and power. They'll try to make it seem like they don't care, but deep down, it's clear they do. Their whole facade is a cry for your attention, a desperate bid to see if you're still invested. But you're focused on yourself now, not their drama. They think they can play the game, but they've already lost. You've moved beyond it, knowing your worth and refusing to settle for being anyone's emotional pawn. Here's an affirmation to keep you grounded during this phase. I see through the games and stay focused on my own growth. Write it down and claim your strength, because you know better than to be dragged back into their cycle. You've already won. By not reacting, by not engaging with their manipulation, you've taken control of the situation. They're still trying to play the game, but you're no longer an active player in it. You've detached yourself from their drama and reclaimed your autonomy. Now it's time to remember that you are the prize, not the one being chased. The moment they start their games, it's your chance to recognize how far you've come. You're no longer chasing validation, and that's exactly what they need from you now. So as they scramble, feeling the weight of their failed attempts to win you back, keep this in mind. You are in charge. You decide who deserves your energy. And if they want to come back, it will be because you allow it, not because they've manipulated their way into your life again. You've already proven that you don't need anyone's approval to feel complete. And in that strength, you'll keep growing, flourishing, and becoming even more the person they can never replace. There you have it, my Stoic friends. Thank you for your time and attention. For reaching this far, please like, share, and subscribe so that we can reach more Stoic minds out there. I'll see you in the next video.